So that dialogue creates your ego.
All right.
It creates what you call an identity of self.
Yes, but this thing about being out of sync with the universe, can it be akin to being aligned with God? Because the alignment with God,
But let me go slow, and I don't want to drop everything on everybody. Say you've confused them. Take it one step at a time.
all right,
Because you had to
sorry.
point out what the scare people when they start to go inside themselves, right?
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, you're there and you say, bam. Now you're in a martial arts class. So all he tell you is that will quieten your inner self. And then he might tell you, well, it's a good place to meditate, to do your standing meditation.
Right.
Stand up. And then you say, wait now, this have to do with the universe and communicating to the universe. Because as long as I'm in alignment standing up there and electrons are flowing, the bad electrons flowing out me and the good electrons coming in, the negative ones,
But
and everything flowing.
well, I know that standing meditation, when I was taught it, was for chi development, which is internal strength,
But
internal power.
what is chi development? You see?
What-
Where does the chi come from?
You're telling me about to teach me.
I've got it.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody does have their own little interpretation of what is happening.
Yes.
To get it further, you would obviously have to find somebody who has gone a little bit further
Yes.
and will give you a more internal explanation. I remember many years ago I went up to Minneapolis, Minnesota. They had a guy, a monk guy, come out of China who came to teach a class. And apparently he was very famous, And when I booked into the course, when I reached there, it was in the university, in the big hall that they have in the university there. The class started with over 900 people. And it was like a 2-week course. When I left our course, I was walking and then touching the ground, literally. But the thing about it is that he was a monk, and you got, so the last part of the course was about the spiritual aspects of breathing. And I remember he came one day and he came with a particular special gown. And he did a little ritual and he says, today I'm going to teach you something, and I have the permission of my teachers to introduce it to you. I was sitting next to us, I had my partner who was hanging out with me. They had a nun, Catholic Church was there. And we started the exercise, and you exercise a little gong to keep you centered and things like that. So when you finish the exercise, she says, I could have swear I was in a Buddhist temple, I said, well, why you say that? She said, well, they had this here and that there. I said, you notice the big piece of cloth that they had hanging there that was yellow, and the other piece on the other side. He says, yes, I noticed it. And she says, how you know that?
Because both of them traveled in the same.
Because he had the power to literally pull everybody and put them in the temple that he was in.
Yes.
So when you finish, I walked up to him and I says, very good. I see you got the permission to carry us into the temple. And he watching, she says, I watching you, as if to say, you know where you're at, So anyhow, the point I'm making is that you have levels of information as you go along, and sometimes you're lucky enough to get in contact with people who do that.
Yes.
So when you say the standing meditation is that you align yourself to the universe. You align yourself to everything around you. So first you realize that, hey, it ain't no talk in my head. And then it ain't how you talk in your head. And a bird in the tree across there start to whistle. And you're hearing it. Something that you normally wouldn't hear. So you stop and you're listening to that. You get lost now in the listening. And then you realize that you have a partner about 3 or 4 streets up the road answering him. And you have another one across there and a conversation going on. And you stop there and you say, wow, conversation. And then you realize you're 200 yards from the road, but you're hearing the traffic in the road.
Yes. Yes.
And then you get lost in the fact that your senses are so sensitive and you're not aware of that sensitivity.
Yes. Because the misalignment.
Yes.
Nice. On the same page. Very good.
Right? So you align yourself.
Yes.
So you say, okay, that's nice. So you find that you might decide, well, let me try a little prayer. And it will be a different prayer. Because you're so awed by all the things that is happening to you, you just open yourself to that awe. And you find yourself going up. Wow. And you stand up there and it's like you just bathe yourself in that awe.
Right.
And you open your eyes and you come out. And you're really peaceful.
Right. So
And if your teacher really don't even ask you what you and you smile, you say, that was a good buzz, wasn't it?
yeah. But
Right?
I want to make sure I have it right. So by putting yourself in that place of alignment, it allows you to go into a different realm of the mind.
Yes, that is really what you're talking about. That once you can bypass the dialogue,
Yes.
the whole vista of what is inside you. So the question that begs the mind, why is it that in religions, they don't teach people that? They just tell you to pray and they leave you talking to yourself down the bottom.
Well, I suppose those that are in authority or power may be afraid that the initiate might go further than they have gone.
I don't know.
Or they might go into a place where they cannot help them.
So there's some people that say, you're talking a holy all kind of Nancy story, right? The Jesuit priests. I'll tell you about one of their exercises. St. Ignatius de Loyola says,
All right.
get on your knees and you're going to say the Our Father. You say, well, that's easy.
Yeah.
And he says you're going to take one word and you're going to take one breath. And when you take that breath and you hold it for approximately 4, you're going to meditate on that word, what that word means, what it means relative to you, what it might mean meditative to others. So you say, Our Father.
Okay.
So you realize that the Our Father going to take you about
Or
an hour.
or more.
Yes, 2 hours. So you're shutting down the dialogue. You're beginning to understand that words, when you see them, have many levels of meaning, and because you just read them quickly, you don't understand. What you need is a highly trained lawyer to talk to you about sentences and the amount of things that he will see in a word that you won't see.
Yes.
And you begin to understand
And then the combination of words.
Yes.
And the meaning there.
how it changes the subtlety of the words.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Whether it following the grammatical structure, whether adverb should come before or after this, and that in order to make sense.
No, it just occurred to me that if doing that exercise takes 2 hours to say the Our Father prayer, the whole idea of a prayer meeting, that some people want to have a half an hour, 1 hour prayer meeting, is really, really doing nothing there.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Everybody have their own way, and I suppose whatever essence you put into it, you will get in tune with
And
the
then
universe.
It all depends on the individuals involved and their ability.
Yes.
Because after you have done this prayer for a while, you will probably be able to do it in maybe an hour and a half.
No,
instead of 2.
because then you'll have to speed up your breathing. And when you speed up your breathing, you speed up your whole tempo.
So there's
and
no
what you're trying to do is you're trying to calm down your tempo.
Right, so there's no shortcut.
It ain't no shortcut.
That is the point I'm trying to get.
Right. So you say, okay, so here you are and you're going along, yogic breathing, qigong, standing. Then you find out about one word, one breath, prayer. And then if you're lucky like me, you go to a hypnosis seminar. And the teacher come back and he said the same thing. He said, if you're going to help a person, you're going to hypnotize a person, you cannot have your dialogue running, because your dialogue will interfere with what you focus, and then you wouldn't be able to influence the person to go down into the subconscious if you want them to help them change something in the subconscious. You understand? You wouldn't get the insights to be able to know what to change.
So you have to
No, you can't.
quiet your dialogue
Yes.
in order to get into their dialogue.
Yes,
And
to get
effectuate-
past their dialogue
to get-
and to help them to get past their dialogue. In
Right.
other words, you can't be in your dialogue and help them to get down inside it because it is the dialogue that has kept them in all their bad habits. So you have to get them down past that into the subconscious and then program the subconscious to come up and neutralize that.
Right.
That's what makes it easy and that's what makes it, in a way, very difficult. And to do that, you have to have an insight
Yes.
into things. So the teacher says, well, that's very easy to do. I said, whoa, man, another technique. He says, take your two fingers, congress, put them like that.
Yeah.
He say, and follow them.
Okay.
So your both eyes looking and you're seeing both of them at the same time. He says, when you reach about here, look inside your mind while you're looking. So when you look inside your mind, you think, I have nothing going on. Say, wow, that's easy. He says, the reason why is that normally your sight is locked down.
Narrow field of vision.
Narrow field of vision. So the dialogue could join in and yeah. So you're going down the road, you know, you're going and work for some money and thing, you know, and you're coming up the road, you buy a bottle of wine and go home and sit down and watch a little TV. Have a nice show on tonight, you know. Carrying all kind, you're always talking all kind of nonsense. Right? And suddenly you shut him down. Or her, if you have a her in your head. Right? Sorry, that's just to make you laugh.
Yeah.
Right? So then he says,
Yeah.
you keep doing it. He says, when you reach about here, you realize I have dialogue here. Plaques, I don't have no dialogue here.
All right.
Plooks, I have dialogue here. Plaques, I ain't have no dialogue there. And then you start moving your hand there and you realize that you have a switch in your head.
Yeah.
There's a switch inside there.
Yeah.
No, it's a switch that you could look at. It ain't like a light. I suppose you could go and make it into a symbol of a light switch.
Yes.
Because what you're going to do after a while is you can say, all right, that light switch connected to the switch, right? And you do so. And you switch it off, click. Switch it on, click. Switch it off, click. Then you put your hand down and you switch it off, click.
Oh,
And
right,
it
right,
is gone.
right.
So you don't have to use
So you
it.
don't need the physical
You don't use the
exercise
fingers anymore.
to turn off the dialogue. So you have mastery now.
Yeah, so I practice it for a few weeks and I get control of it. And I come in the road and I say, hey, Jude, how you going, boy?
Right.
And he say, what are you thinking about? Nothing. What do you mean you're thinking about nothing? You have to be thinking about something.
Everybody always thinking about something.
Everybody else thinking, I say, no, I'm not thinking about anything. Now, I am thinking about anything. And I am thinking about anything. And I have my awareness inside there. So I'm going down the road, driving. I see, I have a mad guy coming down the road there, you know.
Right. So
So the
your
person-
intuition is.
So the person look back and you say, where? I say, give it a couple minutes. Give it about 3 or 4 minutes. And you come back and you drive in and you take yourself, park yourself in the corner, and you hear, whoosh!
Yeah.
And you say, how you know that? I say, well, I ain't talking to myself.
Right. So you see, you're going out now. So
You're going out. So you
your-
have
your
an awareness.
Field of awareness is
That's-
greater.
so you have an awareness,
Yes.
right? I'll give you an idea. I'll give you a nice one.
Yeah.
I'm going down the road that morning, traffic jam, boy. A guy give me a bad drive. Zoom! Almost bounced my car. So mash the brakes. I give X. The partner saying down there. So you're going on, he push back out on the other side to go down. You know, you're trying to see which line moving fast. And my lane start moving and eating. So when I reach him, I do some clicks. And the window coming down. Now his window open. So as my window coming down, watch him. You waiting for it?
He knew it coming in.
So I say, see watch me. I see him again on last night. He said, boy, don't go there now. Don't go there. And I start to laugh, and he start to laugh, right? And he said, boy, you don't know the troubles you just have sometimes. I said, I know. He said, you know that I didn't really bad drive you? I said, I know, you don't know me, so why would you want to bad drive me? But what I'm pointing about, because I was in that state, I got an awareness that it had nothing to do with me.
Yes.
And so the only thing to do is to laugh. Is to say, hey, you ain't get that last night, boy.
Yes.
Right?
It's not about you. Yeah.
And the next question is, why did you make that particular statement? I say, probably I got a feeling that that was cumulative inside it. The marriage thing ain't going too good and all kind of things.
So you're talking about just by shutting down the dialogue, you have this extrasensory ability.
I pointed out to you why people don't have that extrasensory ability.
Yes, but if they would be able to shut down the dialogue, they will be more empathic, they will be more aware.
They'd be more understanding a lot of times.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So
the other thing is that you will learn to control your emotions, because you'll realize that the dialogue will be playing with your emotion all the time,
yes,
and tiring you out.
So you won't feel as drained.
Now, we're only talking about prayer.
Well, actually, we're just talking about shutting down the dialogue in relation to going to pray. We're start to pray.
So you're down the road, and the traffic going down the road, you might be going San Fernando, and you know how they just do it. A man cutting a little piece of grass on the side of the road, and he put stop sign about a mile going down the road, and you have a police, and they have a whole set of people, and half of them standing up there linemen, and the traffic back up 2 miles up the road, right? And you're going down the road, and everybody, you could feel everybody getting vexed. And you're sitting down there, and suddenly the rain starts to fall, heavy. Ain't long, it didn't last long. And the rain fall. And when the rain fall, and you look up, the sky clear. But suddenly, you ain't feeling so bad again. It was like everything quietened down. And the people who was cutting the bush, they had to go out and hide in the thing. So the thing easy, and the traffic started to flow a little better and a little thing. And then you realize that you're calm. And then you realize that water, rain, will slow down the energy.
All right.
So I'll tell it to you in physical terms, as a physicist. You have a beat, the Schumann beat, that is run around the world all the time, 7.5 cycles, right? Let's keep it. If you have tension and thing, it could go up to 10, 12. So we was in the 10, 12. Dust, thing, frustration, and everybody inside there in that and in that. And the rain come and fall, boom. And as it fall, boom, it dropped the Schumann cycle, boom, right down to 2. Everybody had calm. So you begin to understand that even nature can set you into a place where you're at peace.
Yes.
But we're so making noise, we don't notice these things. So the thing about it is that if you're going to pray, the first thing you want to do is to set yourself in peace. Now, based on that, you'll say, if you're worried and you're carrying on and thing and you go to pray and you find you can't pray, just go and step in your bathroom and turn on a cold shower. Right? And bathe for a couple of minutes. Let it fall on you and let it wash away all that. You understand? And you step out and you dry yourself. You're not operating at 10 cycles anymore. The water has carried you down. It's now very easy to switch off your cycle, switch off your dialogue and get out. Once you switch off your dialogue and you become aware of the birds and you become aware of the traffic outside, you know, you're in another place. You're in another space, you're in another time.
Right. So
if you did stay inside there and you go up, boom, and you stay up there, and you're communicating with the heavens, and you're talking. Now you're talking to God. And you notice I keep saying something. You're communicating with the heavens. Your prayer is not to a being, not to a man sitting on a chair with a long white beard. Most probably a white man, because it does make all the God pictures in white.
that's depicted on the internet. Yeah.
And then you begin to understand the subtle games that get played inside your head. Right?
Yeah.
And you say, all right. So you have this whole totality. And you're sitting down in this totality. And you come down and you say, all right, let me go to work. That was a good 5 minutes. And you look at the clock, and an hour and a half gone, and you don't know where it went.
Yeah. Because the space you was in is not governed by time.
It's not governed by time.
I'm listening. Yeah.
So let me digress. You know, I like to digress a little bit.
Yes, yes.
I'm in the middle of a course on hypnotherapy. But this was neuro-linguistic programming. And it's run by a guy called Richard Bandler. who is the founder of the NLP, he sit down and watch how people talk, he and his partner Grindler, and they make a whole new science. They really listen to another guy, Erickson, who, because he was kind of blind, developed it from listening. He's hearing all the time. So he telling the class, he say, I want all you to try an experiment. So what's that? He says, shut down your dialogue. You live in here, we live in St. Augustine, and you have to go down the road, and you have to get down the road for 8 o'clock. But you're driving out your driveway at 7:30. And when you look outside, it's jam going down the road. Because the schools and everything go in, and everybody dropping their children and everything, and you're in pain.
The hustle, the normal hustle.
He says, don't think about that. He said, just picture yourself in where you're going at 5 to 8. So you have 25 minutes. And don't think about anything else. Just shut down your dialogue and keep that in your mind as much as possible. He said, and while you're at it, you don't normally get parking. So you make a parking space. Right? He says, and you get into the traffic and you drive down the road. You drive down the road with no dialogue in your head. Right? He said, and you'll find that when you reach and you look at your watch, it will be exactly right. And then you will have a problem. Because everybody coming down that road has taken an hour and 15 minutes or hour and a half if it's real bad. But you get down there in less than 25 minutes. And you begin to ask yourself, is time a reality? Or is it a reality that we make by a consensus of opinion and is an illusion? And what I succeeded in doing was breaking that illusion, because you will sit down there with this 25 minutes on your watch and you will get totally confused. Right? So you begin to understand that probably miracles are not so difficult.
The obstacle to miracles is the dialogue.
The obstacle to miracles is the dialogue. So the dialogue helps you to define your ego, but the dialogue also helps you to stay in jail.
Yes.
So the only way you're going to go to God is to climb out of the jail.
Right. Right. So we are establishing now the rules of praying.
You're establishing the rules all along.
Right.
So the first thing you got to do is to shut down your dialogue. And the minute you shut down your dialogue, you're in tune with God.
Right. Okay. All right.
Good. If you're a Hindu and you want to talk to Hanuman because you have a mental problem, and you sit down there and you start to call Hanuman, what do you think will happen?
That's after the dialogue shut down.
Yeah, you shut down the dialogue.
Hanuman woke up.
Hanuman will stand up in front of you and talk.
Okay.
And you will know that it is not you, because whatever he's saying will have nothing to do with you. In fact, he might tell you something totally different from everything that you think. Right? And then he might say, okay, we'll work on that. Go on, busy. And he disappear. If you're in a situation where you're praying to the Virgin Mary,
She will appear.
she will appear.
So this is beyond belief systems.
That's why I say, are you certain? But the thing about it is, because of the dialogue and because of the shutdown that we have and because of all the pressure and everything, we don't come out of the space of unreality, the holographic pattern that we're in, into another holographic pattern bigger than that, that allows us to communicate with our higher selves.
Okay. All right.
Now, I want you to bear something in mind, because we're going to come back to it later down in the discussion. When Moses went up on the mountain to pray, the bush started burning.
Right.
He was in front of a burning bush.
Yes.
Now, everything that is said in that little book have a meaning.
Yes.
What did the fire represent? Don't answer. I want you to just put it in your head, because we will come back.
All right. That's the ponder.
That's the ponder.
Right.
Like leave everybody out there to ponder. So, you say, all right, We have an idea about the mind. Everything going great. So, and you say, so we stop the wild horse. We learn how to stop the overload, how to turn off the switch and thing. You take a little time, take a few weeks, and you learn to do it. And he says, the heart. Why
So
is it?
mind and heart?
Why is it that I had to raise up my heart? Look, my heart. Whenever they're talking about Jesus, they're talking about the sacred heart. What does the heart represent?
Well, the heart is the pump. It is seen as the central to life. But that's not true, because medical science tell you that your heart could stop, but as long as you're not brain dead, they could bring you back. Your heart transplant and all that. So, you tell me. I kind of confused at this.
You're young.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's had to talk stuff that everybody might have a feeling about.
An experience with.
Your partner invite you to a little fete, and you're going down in the fete. Take your whatever you're drinking, and you're drinking, and you're drinking, and you're dancing. And suddenly, very subconsciously, most of the time, you feel something, but you don't know what you're feeling. And you look wrong and you ain't see nothing. And you turn around and you look across the room. And you have a nice looking chick sitting on the other side of the room, digging up on you. And you tell your partner, like again, a little vibes from across there, boy. But you forget that you wasn't aware of that. Some awareness that you have in your body make you become aware of it and make you turn around to realize.
So you come like you felt her eyes on you.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
I've heard that statement before.
Right.
I could feel the eye on me.
You could feel the eye on me.
Yeah.
But where does that feeling come from? So I'll give you a little discussion here. I reading a thing on DNA the other day, and the guy's talking about the developments that they're finding in the DNA spiral. And the DNA spiral is follow the same pattern as the solar system spiral is follow going and things. And he says that now they're understanding that the DNA takes light and feeds off the light. So your body is really a body of light. But not that, but the pulse that it has, when it pulses, it brings the whole system where the energy inside it goes faster than the speed of light, and it taps the energy of the darkness. So in other words, the creativity that God issued when he said, from the darkness let there be light, there's an interplay between the light and the darkness in your body. And as long as that DNA could feed that darkness into your system, right, you always will be highly energized, because your whole system would take that darkness and turn it into light.